They say being seen is rare. But what if you're not truly seen, only imagined? Many women don't look at men for who they are, but for who they might become. There's a quiet difference between being noticed and being measured. One touches the soul, the other weighs your worth. Why does this happen? What does it mean to truly be seen? Carl Jung had something to say about this, and it may change how you see yourself forever. Subscribe, like, share, and comment to keep this conversation alive. Carl Jung spent much of his life trying to understand what hides beneath the surface of our thoughts. He believed that each person has an unconscious mind, filled with parts they don't fully know. One of his powerful ideas was about something he called the animus. This is the inner masculine image that lives in the unconscious mind of a woman. It is not a man from the outside world, but a voice or feeling that shapes how she sees men, love, and even herself. Jung said that women often do not fall in love with the real man standing in front of them. Instead, they fall in love with an idea. This idea is shaped by the animus. It could be the image of the perfect lover, the wise teacher, the brave protector, or the distant genius. She may believe that this man can save her or complete her, but the truth is, he is just a mirror for something already inside her. When the animus is healthy, it can help a woman think clearly, stand strong, and act with purpose. It gives her confidence, strength, and independence. But when it is not developed well, when it is immature or broken, it can become a problem. It becomes a force that speaks too loudly inside her. It might tell her that no man is ever good enough. Or it might make her think that one man is perfect, even when he is not. She may put him on a pedestal, only to be crushed when he falls. This is called projection. It means putting something from inside yourself onto someone else. The man becomes a screen, and the woman projects her inner story onto him. She doesn't see him clearly. She sees what she wants or fears. Jung warned that this kind of projection can take over a person. He said it's like spiritual possession. You're no longer fully yourself. You're being pulled by forces you don't understand. This is not only about love, it can also affect how women speak, think, and argue. The animus can become a voice that criticizes or controls. It might say, "You're not good enough," or "He must change for you." The woman may think she's being strong, but really, she's being pushed around by something inside her. The animus can take many shapes, sometimes bold and loud, other times quiet and clever. Jung believed that to grow, a woman needs to become aware of this inner voice. She must learn to tell the difference between real men and the shadow of her animus. Only then can she truly connect with others and also with herself. Without this awareness, she may keep repeating the same painful stories over and over again, thinking the problem is outside when it's actually within. Many men grow up wanting to feel chosen. When a woman shows interest, it can feel powerful. He thinks she sees something special in him. He feels desired, important, maybe even loved. But sometimes what feels like love is something else. It is not always him that she sees. It is the fantasy she has built in her mind. And he becomes a part of that fantasy without even knowing it. Men often confuse being wanted with being truly known. They step into a role that was already written for them. They don't realize that they are acting in someone else's private story. She might treat him like a hero, a rebel, a savior, or a mystery. He may enjoy it at first. It feels good to be admired. But over time, something starts to feel off. He may notice that she only loves certain parts of him. When he shows weakness, doubt, or something unexpected, her warmth may fade. This is because the fantasy begins to fall apart. The image she had in her mind no longer matches the real man in front of her. And when that happens, the man is often replaced, either emotionally or physically. She moves on, chasing a new figure who seems to match the idea better. And the man who was once everything suddenly becomes nothing. This leaves many men confused. They don't understand what went wrong. They were kind. They tried hard. They gave their best. But they weren't truly seen. Not for who they are, but for what they could be in someone else's imagination. The love they thought was real turns out to be more of a performance. When the script changes, they are written out. The sense of betrayal runs deep. It's not only about losing the woman, it's about feeling invisible. He may ask himself, was any of it real? He may carry this confusion into future relationships. He becomes guarded. He starts to wonder if anyone will ever want him, not for the story, not for the mask, but for his real self. Some men try to keep the role going. They hide parts of themselves. They stay quiet about their doubts. They try to stay strong, even when they feel weak. They think if they act just right, the love will last. But this only makes the problem worse. The performance takes over. The man begins to lose touch with who he really is. This cycle repeats. Women project, men perform. Both feel unseen, both feel empty, and no one knows why it keeps happening. The truth is, until both sides stop playing roles and start seeing clearly, the same pattern will return again and again. Carl Jung believed that most people are not whole. They walk through life missing parts of themselves. To fix this, he spoke about a process called individuation. This means becoming a full person by bringing all parts of yourself together, both the parts you show and the parts you hide. It's not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming real. Individuation is not quick or easy. It can take a whole lifetime. It asks you to face things you don't want to see. You have to look at your fears, your shame, your anger, and your past mistakes. You have to face the parts of yourself that make you uncomfortable. Most people never do this. They stay on the surface. They act how others expect them to act. They follow roles instead of truth. For men, this process is even harder. Many are taught to stay strong, to keep emotions inside, to prove their worth through success or approval. They try to be chosen by women, by society, by anyone, because it makes them feel important. But when you are always trying to be chosen, you lose something. You stop choosing yourself. You forget who you really are. Jung said that to become whole, a man must stop chasing the image others have of him. He must stop being just a role. He must turn inward and ask, who am I, without the praise, without the mask? This can be a painful question. It may lead to loneliness at first. It may lead to doubt. But it's the only way to find something real. Individuation means accepting all of yourself, not just the good parts. It means owning your flaws and your darkness, not pretending they don't exist. It means building your values from within, not from what others tell you to be. You stop asking, what do they want from me? And start asking, what do I want to become? Most men never start this work. They stay busy. They distract themselves. They hope someone else will complete them. But Jung said no one can complete you, not a woman, not a job, not success. Only you can do that. And it starts with facing your own inner world, even when it hurts. Choosing yourself is not selfish. It's necessary. When you know who you are, you stop begging to be seen. You stop performing. You stop falling for roles or getting lost in other people's stories. You begin to live from the inside out, not the outside in. This process is not about winning. It's not about being perfect. It's about being honest with yourself. And that kind of honesty is rare. But without it, nothing real can grow. Individuation is the road to becoming whole, and only those willing to face themselves can walk it. Many modern men give up a part of themselves without even knowing it. They call it love. They call it compromise. But deep down, it's self-betrayal. They change how they speak, what they like, and even what they believe, just to be accepted. They think, if I become what she wants, she'll stay. So they put on a mask. They smile when they want to scream. They agree when they feel confused. They act strong when they feel lost. And they do it all thinking it will keep the connection alive. But something strange happens. The more they pretend, the more the connection dies. Not always right away. But slowly, the woman begins to feel it. She may not know why, but something is missing. Something feels fake. And it is. What she once felt drawn to is no longer there. It's been replaced by someone trying too hard to be loved. Someone trying too hard to please. The real man is hidden behind layers of fear. At first, she may try to fix it. She may offer support, ask questions, give chances, but over time, she loses respect. Not because he failed, not because he has flaws, but because he's not showing up as himself. Women are sensitive to this. They can feel when a man is disconnected from who he really is. And once that feeling sets in, attraction fades. Not because she's cruel, but because we are all drawn to what feels real. This is the tragedy. Men think they are doing the right thing. They believe that bending, pleasing, and softening their edges is how to keep love. But what they're really doing is walking away from themselves. And the more they do it, the more they suffer. They begin to feel empty. They don't know who they are anymore. They feel confused, tired, and unmotivated. They wonder why they're doing everything right and still losing. Many men fear being alone more than they fear being fake. That's the core of it. They would rather keep a false connection than face themselves in silence. But that silence, that time alone, is where the real work happens. It's where a man can meet his true self, not the version shaped by others, but the one shaped by truth. The choice is hard. Be alone and honest, or be accepted and hollow. Most pick the second. They wear the mask long enough that they forget there was ever a face beneath it. And by the time they realize what they've lost, it often feels too late. The woman is gone. The spark is gone. And all that's left is a man who doesn't recognize himself anymore. This is not weakness. It's a misunderstanding. Men are taught to be useful, to be wanted, to win love. But no one tells them that real love cannot reach a mask. Only the real man can be truly seen, and for that, he must first choose himself. The truth has a cost. When a man starts to see clearly, when he begins to walk his own path, he often finds himself alone. This is the quiet side of growth that no one talks about. Becoming more honest with yourself, choosing what's real over what's easy, can lead to silence. Not because you've done something wrong, but because many people aren't ready to face what you now see. Individuation means becoming whole. It means not hiding from yourself anymore. But the moment you stop playing the same games as others, something changes. You begin to see what they cannot. You notice the lies people tell themselves, the roles they cling to, the masks they wear. You may sit in a room full of laughter and feel the emptiness behind it. You may listen to someone speak and feel the fear behind their smile. This kind of seeing is not a gift, it's a burden. Many people don't want to be seen. They want comfort, not truth. So when you reflect back something honest, when your presence shows what they're avoiding, they pull away. You might say something simple, something real, and it hits too hard. Not because you meant harm, but because it touched something raw. In those moments, you become the mirror. And most people don't like what the mirror shows. You may lose friends, you may lose love, some will say you've changed, some will say you've grown cold. But really, you've just stopped lying to yourself. You've stopped nodding along, you've stopped pretending everything is fine when it isn't. You've started asking real questions. And that scares people. The path to truth is not crowded. It is quiet. At times, it is painfully lonely. You might look around and feel like no one understands you anymore. The conversations feel shallow. The smiles feel forced. The small talk feels like noise. You may wish you could go back, but you can't. Once you see clearly, you can't unsee. Once you feel what's real, the fake becomes unbearable. This loneliness isn't just about being without people. It's about being without illusions. It's about sitting in the raw silence of your own truth and waiting for something real to meet you there. But most never reach that point. They turn back. They go silent again. They shrink themselves to fit back in. They wear the old masks just to feel warmth again. But that warmth doesn't last, and deep down, they know it's not real. Individuation asks for more. It asks you to stay true even when no one claps, even when no one stands beside you. It asks you to walk forward, even when your voice shakes, even when the world turns its back. Because the only thing lonelier than truth is a life built on lies. When a woman avoids facing her inner world, especially her animus, the cost can be high. The animus is the inner masculine voice within her. If left in the dark, it doesn't stay quiet. It grows stronger in hidden ways. Instead of helping her grow, it starts to control her. It can speak through pride, cold logic, and even moral judgment. And the woman may think these thoughts are wise or right when they are really just defense. Without shadow work, without honest self-reflection, this inner voice can lead to a false sense of authority. She may believe she knows better than others. She may correct, control, or criticize from a place of moral superiority. This doesn't come from strength. It comes from fear. Fear of feeling powerless. Fear of being wrong. Fear of looking inside. Instead of taking responsibility, projection becomes a way out. She pushes her own issues onto the people around her. If she feels shame, someone else must be to blame. If she feels pain, someone else must have caused it. This is not a conscious choice. It happens quietly. She may truly believe that others are the problem, but often she is reacting to her own unfinished work. In relationships, this leads to a painful cycle. At first, she may see a man as a hero, someone to look up to, someone who reflects something strong and deep inside her. She feels drawn to him, inspired by him. But over time, the cracks begin to show. Not just in him, but in her own projection. The fantasy breaks, and when it does, the hero becomes the enemy. What once was love can quickly turn into anger, disappointment, or even disgust. Not because the man changed, but because he could no longer hold up the image she put on him. He is punished for not being perfect. He is blamed for her pain. And yet, none of this would happen if she had faced her own animus. The work is not easy. It means questioning the voice in her head that always needs to be right. It means asking if the blame she places on others is really her own avoidance. It means noticing when she lifts someone too high, only to tear them down later. It means understanding that her judgment might not be truth, it might be protection. Shadow work for women is not about guilt. It's about honesty. It's about seeing the ways power can be misused in soft forms. Through silence, through control, through charm, through quiet punishment. The danger is not in being strong. It is in using that strength to avoid looking inward. When the animus is unbalanced, the woman may appear sharp and certain, but underneath there is confusion. There is a part of her still searching for a father, a teacher, or a savior. And until she faces that truth, she will keep running in circles, lifting men up, blaming them, and starting again. Many men feel hurt when they realize they were not truly seen in a relationship. They feel used, replaced, or misunderstood. But there is a hard truth that must be faced. Most men were not forced into these roles. They walked into them. They said yes, hoping to be loved. They changed who they were, hoping to be chosen. In this way, they were not victims. They were volunteers. It's easy to blame the woman. It's easy to say, she projected, or she never saw the real me. But that doesn't solve anything. The real work begins when a man asks himself, why did I accept this? Why did I stay quiet? Why did I choose comfort over truth? These are not easy questions. They don't make you feel strong, but they point you toward growth. A man must confront himself. He must look at the ways he gave up his voice, the ways he shaped himself to please, the times he stayed when he should have walked away. This is not about shame. It's about honesty. Because without self-confrontation, the pattern will repeat. The face will change, but the game stays the same. One of the deepest traps is the need for feminine validation. Many men want to feel important in a woman's eyes. They want to be seen as strong, special, needed. And there's nothing wrong with wanting connection. But when your worth depends on someone else's gaze, you are not free. You are chasing approval. And you will keep bending until you break. The solution is not to reject women. It's not to become cold or distant. It's to stop needing someone else to tell you who you are. When a man stands on his own truth, he stops chasing. He listens, but he doesn't obey just to be liked. He loves, but he doesn't lose himself in the process. He chooses carefully, and he stays honest, especially with himself. Taking responsibility means owning your part. It means saying, I allowed this, without falling into self-hate. It means seeing clearly, not just what others did, but what you let happen. That kind of honesty can feel harsh at first, but it builds something strong inside. A backbone, not just a mask. Freedom comes when you stop asking to be chosen, when you no longer need to be seen to feel real, when you stop performing and start living from your own center. That's when everything changes. Not because someone else approves, but because you finally do. Men must stop waiting to be saved by love. They must stop blaming others for the roles they accepted. It is time to take the weight off others and carry your own. Not with anger, not with shame, but with quiet strength that says, this is who I am, and I'm done pretending. The individuated man stands apart. He is untouchable, not because he is cold or distant, but because he is true to himself. He cannot be easily controlled or manipulated. When he speaks, it is from his own center. His actions come from a place of honesty, not from a desire to please or perform. This makes him strong in a way that others notice, even if they don't always understand it. Society often feels uneasy around this kind of man. That is because authentic masculinity challenges many expectations. It refuses to fit into easy boxes. It doesn't bend to pressure or seek approval. It is not loud or aggressive, but calm and steady. It shows strength without needing to prove it. This quiet power can make others feel uncertain because it does not rely on rules or roles that society is used to. Many men are taught to win love by performing. They learn to act a certain way to get approval, show strength, hide emotion, be successful. This can bring temporary praise or attraction. But this kind of love is based on a mask. It is fragile because it depends on keeping up the act. The moment the man shows something real, the performance may fail, and so may the approval. The individuated man does not seek love this way. He understands the difference between being loved for a role and being respected for who he truly is. Respect comes from truth, from courage, and from standing firm in the face of challenge. It is not easy to earn, but it lasts longer than any act. People may not always love his honesty at first, but they come to trust and value it over time. This man does not fear solitude because he knows who he is alone. He does not need to prove himself to others because his worth is not tied to their judgment. He listens to himself before he listens to the crowd, and this makes him unpredictable to those who want to control or use him. Being authentic means accepting all parts of yourself. even the parts others might not like. It means showing your weaknesses as well as your strengths. It means not hiding behind a mask, even if it means being misunderstood or rejected. This can be lonely, but it is also freeing. It is the freedom to live without fear of losing approval. Society often prefers men who fit a clear role: heroes, providers, winners. But the individuated man breaks those roles. He creates his own way. This can create discomfort or resistance, but it also inspires others. It shows that strength is not about fitting in, but about standing out with honesty. Many men never reach this stage. They stay in roles that bring temporary approval but leave them feeling empty. The individuated man chooses a harder path. He chooses to be real, even when it is difficult. He chooses himself, not the mask. This is the true power of masculinity, not the power to control or win, but the power to be real. When a man lives this way, he becomes untouchable, not because he pushes others away, but because he is grounded in truth. And that kind of power is rare and valuable. True partnership happens when two people have done their own inner work. They have faced their own fears, doubts, and shadows. Because of this, they come into the relationship whole. They are not looking to fill empty spaces or fix each other. Instead, they bring their real selves, with all their strengths and weaknesses. This creates a space where truth is the foundation, not stories or fantasies. In many relationships, people project what they want or need onto the other person. They see the partner as a hero, a rescuer, or someone who will complete them. But this is not true love. It is a mix of hope and fear. It creates pressure and confusion. The partner becomes a role, not a real person. This can lead to disappointment and hurt when the fantasy breaks. True partnership is different. It grows from freedom. When both people are free in themselves, they choose each other without needing to. They love without fear or expectation. This kind of love is not about holding on tightly or changing the other person. It is about accepting, supporting, and growing together. Both partners know that they are complete on their own, and together they are stronger. In a true partnership, each person is an ally. They work as a team. They listen to each other and respect each other's boundaries. They help each other face their own challenges, but they do not try to save or fix. There is no power struggle because both are equal. They share responsibility for their growth and happiness. This does not mean the relationship is perfect or easy. There will still be conflicts and hard moments. But when both people are committed to truth, they face these challenges honestly. They do not hide problems or blame. Instead, they communicate clearly and try to understand each other. This builds trust and deepens connection. True partnership also means space for individuality. Each person keeps their own identity and passions. They do not lose themselves in the relationship. Instead, they support each other's freedom to grow and change. This balance of closeness and independence makes the bond stronger, not weaker. When love is based on freedom, it feels light and alive. It does not feel like a trap or a burden. It feels like a choice made every day, not a need to survive. Both partners bring their full selves without fear of judgment. This creates a safe place where love can grow naturally. In this kind of relationship, both people feel seen and heard. They do not hide behind masks or pretend to be someone else. They share their truth, even when it is hard. This honesty creates respect and deep understanding. True partnership is rare because it requires courage. It requires both people to face themselves and to face each other without fear. But when it happens, it is powerful. It is a meeting of two whole people who choose to walk side by side, not because they need each other to live, but because they want to share life together. This is what love looks like when it is real. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Carl Jung warned about a danger many people don't see. He said we can become trapped by the images others have of us. When we live to meet their expectations, we lose ourselves. We become actors in a play written by someone else. This is a quiet form of slavery. It feels safe because we get approval and avoid conflict. But inside, we are no longer free. Many men and women fall into this trap without knowing it. They try to be what others want, hiding their true thoughts and feelings. They play roles that bring praise but take away their real power. Over time, this becomes a cage. The voices outside drown out the voice inside. The heart grows silent. The soul grows tired. Jung's warning is clear. Don't let yourself become a prisoner to others' projections. Projections are when someone puts their ideas, fears, or hopes onto you. They see you not as you are, but as who they want you to be. If you accept these projections without question, you lose control of your life. You become a reflection of their dreams, not your own. The challenge is to choose yourself, to stand fully and unapologetically as who you are. This means saying no to roles that don't fit. It means looking honestly at your own fears, weaknesses, and strengths. It means making decisions from your own center, not from what others expect or demand. Choosing yourself is not easy. It can feel lonely. People around you may resist. They may want you to stay in your assigned role. They may push you back into the script written for you. But if you want to live fully, you must find the courage to break free. Becoming the author of your own life means taking responsibility for your story. It means writing your own script with your own hand. You decide what matters. You decide what you will accept and what you will refuse. You stop waiting for permission or approval. You become the person who leads, not the one who follows. This freedom brings strength. It brings peace. When you are no longer trapped by others' projections, you can grow in ways you never thought possible. You can connect with others from truth, not performance. You can build relationships that honor who you really are. Living as your true self is a daily choice. It requires honesty and courage every day. It means facing fears and standing firm even when it's uncomfortable. But the reward is a life that feels real and whole. A life where you are not a character in someone else's story, but the writer of your own. Jung's final challenge is a call to live without apology, to be bold in your truth, to refuse the chains of projection and control, to be free, fully and completely in your own skin. This is the path to real power and real peace. If this message speaks to you, please share it with others. Many men are caught in the same patterns, struggling with the same challenges. By sharing, you help break the cycle. You give others a chance to see a different way, a way to live with honesty and freedom. Sometimes, one conversation can change a life. Your voice matters, and it can make a difference. This is not just about one person. It is about many men learning to take responsibility for themselves. It is about waking up to the truth inside and choosing a better path. When more men understand these ideas, relationships can change, families can heal, communities can grow stronger. You become part of something bigger than yourself. Supporting this message means helping to spread awareness about what it means to face our inner selves. Psychological understanding is not always easy to talk about, but it is important. It helps people stop blaming others and start looking inside. It helps men stop playing roles and start living real lives. It creates space for true connection and respect. You don't have to be perfect to help. You just need to be willing to be honest and open. To say, I see this in myself, and I want to grow. When you do that, others feel safe to do the same. Change begins with small steps, and every step counts. Sharing these ideas is one way to take a step forward. The more this message spreads, the more it can touch lives. You can be part of that change. You can help men find the courage to stand for themselves. You can help build a world where relationships are based on truth, respect, and freedom. It starts with one voice, one share, one conversation at a time. Thank you for listening and being willing to think about these ideas. Together, we can create a space where men are free to be real, where love is not based on need or fear, but on honesty and choice. Keep the conversation going. Help this message reach those who need it most. Your support matters.